Shalom, everybody. Welcome back to Rav Gottlieb's articles. We're on Article 10, in the back of Giving, translation of Matan Torah on page 181. It's the last of the 10 essays that are translated in the back. Just give me a moment to pull up the live stream, in case anyone tunes in, has any comments, questions, or concerns. Group work. The last essay of the 10, some could argue the most important. The Baal Shalom said himself that the greatest method, means, medicine to arrive at the ultimate state of consciousness, of loving the other, is the group work, and the work within the group work. Thought, speech, and action. Begins the Baal Shalom. God is perfect and so has no desire to receive anything at all. God only wants to give and expresses the desire by creating and sustaining the world. The path to union with God is to aspire to attain God's attribute of giving. I like to focus on the word aspire, to understand that even if we are not at the state of giving, if we aspire more practically and realistically, aspire to aspire, then according to the Baal HaSulam, it's already considered aspiring. The desire to give is already considered like giving. The desire to be refined and be righteous and be in the good way is already considered as that. So as long as there's some type of chain connection to the end goal, we're connected. People who share the desire to develop love for others can inspire one another to form a society devoted to serving God. Giving selflessly to people who are not interested in this path, however, will drag us down, for they will exploit our giving. Since they are not looking out for us, it becomes necessary for us to look out for ourselves, at least to a certain extent. So when some members of a society are selfish, it affects the whole society. See section 17 of Mutual Guarantee for a more complete explanation of this point. That happens to be the last official essay within this translated work. On one side, we can say, that when a member of a society is selfish, it affects everyone because we live in an integral society. We are all one soul. And the soul units that we create are both in the micro and the macro, being that the whole world is one soul. And a group of friends or a community or a society can also create a composite being, a composite vessel that is a soul in itself, so to speak. That is the ideal of the minyan, the group of 10 people that come together, at least 10 people, a quorum of at least 10 for daily prayers. As our sages say, that the Shekhinah rests upon such a group as they pray, the Shekhinah being the ultimate manifestation of the soul. Soul in its corrected form, both on a micro and a macro level, personal and global. The Rebbe Shita continues, it requires a great deal of work to build a society based on love your fellow as yourself. But it seems very easy for anyone's selfishness to destroy it. How can we even begin to build such a society while avoiding the risk of exploitation? Our sages said, give preference in charity to the poor of your city over the poor of another city. It simply is not practical to work immediately on loving the whole world. In order to develop our love for others, we must begin with a small number of people. We start with those who are close to our heart, and then gradually expand the circle after we've progressed in developing love for others. In simple terms, as we say, chesed starts at home. Practicing loving kindness is most practically actualized and must be actualized, I'm speaking to myself here, at home. If we can build our love for our spouse which many commentators say should be a fiery love, one of self-sacrifice and going in the desert towards them and with them, to love them and be with them without condition, as too should be our relationship with the Creator in its ideal form. With that said, there are those, as our rabbis, the Baal Sulam and the Rebbe Tzila have said, in their time, and surely in our time today, in our Beit Midrash too, there are those who might do great things in the presence of the community, giving and self-sacrifice, but not so much at home. That's obviously a corruption and something's going wrong there, being that they get the honor. People see that they're helping, that they're giving, that they're doing, in contrast to all of that they should be doing more so, arguably, at home. Chesed starts at home. As we build that love in our family unit, then we can truly expand. Not to say we shouldn't practice love of others with our friends, in our community, in our society. We should. But to be realistic, if it's not built in the most close unit, being the family, then surely will not expand further to the friends, the community, the city, the county, the state, the country, the continent, and the world at large, and the universe. The Rebbe Shita continues. We develop love for others by choosing a small group of at least 3 friends who are seriously committed to doing this work together. The work of the group will include the 3 areas of thought, speech, and action. In the area of thought, we reflect each day on what is special about each of the friends in our group. What are their good character traits, special abilities, and unique points of view? This will increase our motivation to give to them. For when we recognize the greatness of others, it feels good to give to them. Regarding our speech, we work on speaking respectfully to each member of the group, the way we would speak with very important people. In our actions, we work to do things for the benefit and happiness of the group. So without the group work, and therefore the focused and intended work in thought, speech, and action, we wouldn't be able to build ourselves and be more aware and cognizant of where we are holding in our work in regards to our giving and receiving, the work of our ego, the work in intending and attempting to reach towards altruism. The spiritual path of loving others is to fulfill the material desires of others. Our task is to give the people in our group things like attention, food, and money. For it is the nature of people to want material things more than spirituality. So too is the human. What does it mean to give to another? It is giving to someone else things that are precious to them. In general, these are material things. Our physical desires may cause us trouble sleeping at night. However, if we feel we are lacking in spirituality, we'll usually still manage to get a good night's sleep. In short, our spirituality is someone else's materiality. The Rebbe Zatzal, Rebbe Baruch Shalom Ashlag, would say that those who are cognizant of the inner work would not be quick to give spiritual advice to others, because they didn't feel to be in the right position to give advice for something they themselves could not put into practice. Being aware of how hard it is to really do the work. So, when someone does give spiritual advice, it's usually coming from a point of the ego that wants to control the other, not help them. So in contrast to that, really helping them is giving something of importance, something that's really considered sacrifice, being time, energy, money, attention, food, and the like. As he continues to the point I just gave, looking to fix other people and give them spirituality is not giving. This is not giving because we are not giving up anything. Looking to give other people spiritually is self-serving, as it contains the ego gratification of feeling superior to others. And again, our task is to give the people in our group what they want, not what serves us to give. The essay finishes off. This group work is a daily, practical method founded by Bal HaSulam for building a society based on loving others. It is recommended that groups meet once a week, each time at a different member's home. If that's too inconvenient, for example, in our Beit Midrash, we meet weekly in the Beit Midrash itself. But perhaps the ideal is to go from home to home, and a group can build themselves towards that. But in any case, meeting first and foremost is ideal. Discussion should focus on the importance of society and loving the other, including practical suggestions regarding how to develop love and cooperation among the members of the group. Each member attempts to create a joyous, non-critical atmosphere that, with God's help, will increase and spread outward from the group to wider circles of society. But first and foremost, it must be done on the micro level with the group. And if the group and the community can successfully accomplish, actualize these principles, then by definition, there will be a positive influence on their surroundings. And slowly but surely, the nation of Israel can inch towards accomplishing the goal of being a Goy Kadosh, a holy nation. Mamlechet Kohanim, nation of priests, as described at the end of Matan Torah. But that has to start again at home, and then building with the group, with the friends, so on and so forth. And again, to clarify, Ashlag Rebbe's said that this is the ultimate means to reach towards adhesion, dvekut, with the Creator, more than anything else, because it's so inclusive of so many mitzvot, so many matters within our inner work is concentrated on the group and coming to love the other. And so, the Rebbe Zitzal has said that the main point of free will an individual has is to place themselves in the greatest environment that they can, because man is a tree of the field, and that tree must be planted in fertile, efficient soil that has the means to receive abundance from the skies, to receive the waters, the rains, the loving kindness, the Torah, to be invigorated and to grow. And thus a person's goal should be again and again to place themselves in a better environment until they reach the ideal environment to plant themselves for the rest of their lives, ideally, and sprout to the very top. And as we continue to plant and sprout, we should be zoche, we should merit to connect to the groups, connect to our friends, first and foremost, connect to our spouses and our families at home, and build love between us all. And hopefully integrate this type of learning and these concepts and expose them more and more to the world at large, so that we can inch just a little bit closer to fulfilling the correction and purpose of creation. All the best.